Good morning. I actually went to bed at a decent time last night. So I'm up at this ungodly hour. And the theme for this morning, as I scroll through Facebook, is mind your business. Now, I was actually watching a video from a Facebook friend about how to make sure I don't have any sleep in my eyes because it is like, I think it's before 8 o'clock or some shit like that in the morning. I don't even know why I'm up. Happy Friday. I'm gonna hate myself later for being up. So, in any case, I was watching a Facebook video about that whole cursing the moon thing, about baby witches. Come to find out, that shit never even happened. People love Hey Cinnamon. People love Hey Lisa. People love coming on the internet with something that they've heard from one person and running it. Okay? And this is not just something that happens in the magical community, but let's talk about that for just a minute. Because I just blocked a Facebook friend who I've been Facebook friends with since 2014. And yes, she is white. Okay? This person, well, I don't even know how we came to be Facebook friends because I'd heard early back in the day that she thought I was throwing at her. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the term throwing at her, she thought I was casting spells on her. I'd heard this about this person. I don't know, somehow, some way along the way. In fact, I'm going to go back and look at my Facebook messages because I believe this person messaged me to apologize for thinking that way about me. I think she did. But what makes me really not want to go back into her messages is that over the years, I never messaged her first. Know that. And that our messages always were about some shit that was going on in the occult community. Her occult community. But through Unlucky Hojo and other associations with clear conjurers, somehow she felt that it was important that I have information, certain information. Okay, it is early for me. It is way too early for me, but I'm making some life changes. There's some shit that I ain't gonna keep doing and staying up all night working and sleeping late. It just, no. But sometimes I have to because for my instructional design job, my clients are primarily my schools out in California that I work with. So sometimes I do have to work late with them, but it's not that much. But I'm making some serious changes to my life. And I really distance myself. I don't care if you are a fucking relative from people that are committed to fuckery and not doing right. I'll speak more on that later. But you will see that I don't care who you are. I'm not going to continue to fuck with you, even paying customers coming into my store, if you're not committed to doing the right thing. Now, this person, under the guise of doing the right thing over the years, and I encourage them to scroll back and look at our messages before I deleted and blocked her from sending me any more messages. And I encouraged her to go and look at our conversations with me because usually they were on some old bullshit, and usually they involved her people and their appropriation of African and African Caribbean practices and African American practices. So I wanted her to inspect her words because there was never a case of me coming to her asking her about anybody. Because I don't care. So there was a recent issue in the entire occult community that this, and I don't speak on things unless I find out that that shit is like absolutely true, or I'm trying to find out certain truths about things. So there was that recent situation where that woman, that clear person, is trying to copyright Santa Muerte, or protected by Santa Muerte, that statement, and was sending cease and desist letters from people to people. You cannot copyright anything regarding a Mexican folk saint or any spirit that I am aware of, because fuck that, freedom of religion. Exactly, Karen, and that is my point. That's the point of this video. You cannot be fucking around with these people out here in these streets that all they do is come up in your inbox with gossip, bullshit, and conjecture. And so, that woman who tried to tell people they could not use protected by Santa Muerte then had the caucasity to go and host a working with your ancestors in Afro-Caribbean religions workshop. And yes, she had the workshop. And yes, she got that motherfucking money. And yes, people are up in arms. But I posted it because I'm like, I just want you to see what people are doing out here. Okay? And it's not even really, those people actually, in the end, are their own worst enemies. Because if you don't think the ancestors and the gods are going after these people and eating these motherfuckers for lunch, think again. We don't even have to lift a fucking finger. I came into the occult through the white occult community. When I tell you they are some of the most miserable, non-enlightened motherfuckers who don't get anything out of any of these practices, I am not lying to you. Now, let me say that there are exceptions to every rule. It's just like every black person who comes into an ATR. They're not always honest. They're not always right. They're not always looking to do the right thing for you. I had a client call the store yesterday and wants us to undo some shit some black voodoo priest did to them. We get it all the time. And I send that stuff to my mumble because fuck these people. I'm a Mambo Supreme #1. I'm not Asagwe. I'm not walking into your fucking house to cleanse out whatever the fuck you let come into it. But I love let my mama have that work because she knows what the fuck she's doing. But the bottom line is to get there in the first fucking place. Shows that you don't read, that you don't research, and that you just don't care. In fact, you're doing it to be spooky, black and spooky. And we know that white people love everything black and spooky. They tried to make it so we didn't practice our own religions because they realized the power of said religions, and they realized the power of said gods, and they tried to kill our religions, much like they killed Celtic and all of the other European witchcraft. Because baby, that fucking Crusades and Spanish Inquisitions or all the other shit that they did to eradicate paganism from Europe, okay? You have no idea. I put up a post. I think I shared the post of how they would torture their own people. Okay, torture their own people to get them to change religions. That should show you about the power of paganism. Okay? And the absolute horrific foundation that Christianity laid from the very beginning. But that's another class for another time. I don't even have the bandwidth to talk to you about that bullshit. And all you black motherfuckers running around talking about Beyonce is a demon worshiper. And then all the rest of you black motherfuckers who want to talk about how she can't do this and she can't do that. And she ain't violated any rules of Orisha worship. She ain't violated anything in Regulaman. Leave people the fuck alone. So this particular conjurer has come in my inbox before. I take it that this person, there was this guy a few years ago talking about how white people were the eggs that made up the hoodoo cake, and that hoodoo was this big we are family conglomeration of all of these different folk practices. No. And the research doesn't support it. I can give you several if you want to go and talk about academic research. And that's the thing. Motherfuckers don't read. I can send you Nichols in the Nation Sack, which is an article from the Journal of Pan-African Studies that shows you just how African hoodoo is. Yes, there are some slight influences, but people, when they colonizers want to insert themselves into a practice that is not theirs, they're going to come up with any fucking kind of concept they can in order to justify their belonging in a particularly close practice. Because you don't see me running around trying to get in European close practices, even though I have the ancestry to do so. They cannot say that. Because racism. Racism keeps most white people white. Okay? But racism ain't never kept most black people black. Rape, oppression, etc. So they try to insert themselves in places and try to file lawsuits against people for using the gods and goddess of their own ancestry. What kind of fuck shit is that? That's why I said something. Not because it's the latest witch war. So let's talk about that. So this particular person, of course, jumped right on the post to talk about what a menace this person has been in the community. And this person jumped right in my inbox. But she let something slip. She said that because of said person, she'd formed some type of temporary alliance with Mr. Egg in the hoodoo cake. And I was like, wait a minute. See, I have principles. My enemies, the enemies of my enemies, are not my friends. You are foolish when you align yourself with somebody that you wouldn't sit to next to, even if your fucking feet were on fire to put them out. You don't align yourself with people that you wouldn't piss down their necks if they were on fire. See, who you tend to align yourself with in times of trouble or in times of challenges is very indicative of your character. And I basically let that person know, I'm like, you know what? I don't give a good goddamn. You know, basically she's saying the woman that tried to file the Santa Muerte lawsuit was also trying to start, controversy between different store owners in their area. You will not see me align with some of these motherfucking store owners in this area for any goddamn reason. I don't care if the city put out an ordinance trying to shut down all of the occult stores or the county. I would never align with some of these motherfuckers because they will stab you in the back just as soon as you look at them. They'll tell lies. They're inhospitable to our community, and that's the only reason why I keep my fucking store open. Period. Well, that and I have a lease. So when this lease ends and you see me have another storefront, please know that we are the only black storefront, completely black owned, in Central Ohio. Now there are others with black owners, but completely black owned. From my understanding, we are the only ones. There may be others. I hope there are others. I really do. I don't like that. Having that reputation of being the only. because that still shows how black people are underserved in every fucking thing, including spirituality. So, yeah, my enemy's enemy is not my friend. And then I made a comment to her because she mentioned having some post about Obeya. She was announcing leaving the OTO, and it was just really too long. Didn't read diatribe because nobody really fucking cares about you leaving the OTO. Even the people in the OTO, even the people that know what the OTO is, and certainly people who don't. Nobody give a fuck about your long ass diatribe. Putting all your motherfucking business in the street. I wish you all have known how many witchcraft organizations I have laughed at. Okay? Without me saying a motherfucking word. Witchcraft organizations I created that I've dissolved. Without me saying a motherfucking word. Why? It ain't nobody's business what I do. It is nobody's business who my enemies are. It's nobody's business really who my friends are. That's my business. And I find that when you put all of that information out and you write long ass books about it, you're usually trying to justify some bullshit that you had no business doing in the first place. So when I asked her what she meant by Obeya, she was saying that it was some type of title in the OTO, and it came out of something Crawley wrote. Crawley wrote about a lot of things. Some of the shit he could have kept out of his mouth. He should have kept Obeya out of his mouth. He should have kept voodoo out of his mouth. There's a lot of shit he should have kept out of his mouth, but we won't even go there because he was special. But the reality of the matter is, once again, this person told me that she'd formed alliance with someone who I deemed to be a colonizing appropriator. And then when that person would also expand their store, that person has a beautiful store, really obviously making that money, doing the damn thing, definitely doing a lot better than she is. She would send me links and pictures and tell me about it and be like, it just disgusts me that this person can do this, that, and the other and have this, that, and the other. But then now all of a sudden you forming an alliance with them because some other see, that's the thing. These clear people in this community, especially, but you black folks got this problem too. With these clear people, they got it real bad with keeping up bullshit. I know. I mean, that was my first exposure to the occult. And the bullshit that these people keep up, these witch wars, it's really around capitalism. It's around money, y'all. It always has been, and it always would be. This is nothing. This bullshit that you see out here has nothing to do with venerating your ancestors, coming closer to the Creator and the gods and the goddesses that the creating God made, getting close to nature. These spirits aren't even people for the most part, y'all. They are nature energy. But they don't understand that. In their efforts to personify the gods and to capitalize and commercialize magic, they do all kinds of fuck shit. And they try to pit people against each other. But understand this, whenever you see these witch wars, especially among them, it is about money. It's about jealousy. It's about being jealous for somebody else's success. See, because when I made my store, I didn't go around and look at the different occult stores here and try to model myself accordingly. I didn't even look at any of the occult stores to model my store. I realized that was the wrong direction to go. First of all, I didn't want to be kitschy. I didn't want to be typical. I didn't want to be anything like my competition because I have no competition. Because no one is like me. So that's the first thing I had to come up with. I went to my mambo and I asked her, what color should I paint it? How should I decorate it? So when you go into my store, you're not going to see the dark wood, the dusty bookshelves, the overdone Victorian furniture. You're not going to see that. You're going to see something that is uniquely me. and my connection with spirit. Now, I do love those types of stores, and I do love that aesthetic. And maybe when I expand, and maybe at some point when I get a space, but I was dealing with 1960s buildings. I had to work with what I had. And so I went with the aesthetic that I did. I want to be imitated. I don't want to be the imitator. So basically, back to this conversation with this woman, I told her, you do realize that every time you come up in my box for the last 6 fucking years, you have had nothing but gossip and information from me that you think that I want. And if you scroll back and look at our conversations, you will also see that I've politely thanked you for the information, and most of the time let you know how much I don't give a fuck. But I told her, I think it is time that we are done here. I am most certainly done here with you. And I have no problems doing this with people, y'all. With my own fucking blood. Ask them. I said, I'm done having this conversation with you, and I'm done conversating with you at all, because every time you come up in my inbox, you got some gossip and some bullshit, and it's usually about your people because you know nothing about ours. Why? Because smart black people are notorious for keeping their motherfucking business to themselves. I also let that person know that under no certain circumstances would I have an alliance with somebody like that, somebody who I do not care for, don't like their tactics, and really hate their appropriation. Because if you did all that and you hated that person's appropriation so much, you could not stomach, you could not sleep at night, you would vomit at the thought of having any type of alliance with them if you were a motherfucker of character. So I'm not really trying to hear that either. See, that's why y'all see me over here in my motherfucking corner, minding my motherfucking business. A local coat store owner here who has been greatly supportive of me came into my store and they asked me, so do you own all of this? Is all you? And I'm like, yeah, you goddamn right. This is all me. And basically that person was like, good, keep it that way. Because that person obviously has partners or partners, a partner or partner that they don't agree on certain things. And then when you have those types of partners and you don't agree on certain things, when you have those types of partners, guess what, y'all? You compromise your values. And I won't even compromise my values with my own children. That's why my oldest has her own place. She's coming to get her furniture tomorrow. That is why we are no longer quarantining together. That is why you don't see any pictures of my grandchildren. That's my oldest child. So how you think I feel about a motherfucker off the street? A white motherfucker off the street. How you think I feel about them? Yeah, exactly. I don't do shit I don't want to do. That's the joy of being black and motherfucking grown. For a long time, there's people on this timeline, on this thing here, who have known me for almost 20, 30 years. And they know that I've pretty much never given a fuck. But I used to have this thing about pleasing people. I think that's why it took me so long to become a witch. And even within witchcraft and conjure, it took me so long to walk away from the religion of my youth. Because I like to make people happy. You know? Especially my parents. My mother was a heathen. My father, Seventh-day Adventist. That was a real great combination right there. But my mother didn't go to church. My mama was just as fucking ridiculous as I am. Probably worse. And, but still, I didn't want to disappoint my parents. They both had high expectations about education and character. And yes, I fucked up. I did all kinds of fucking things as a young person. Because even though they had all these high expectations of me, I lived in a dysfunctional life. I lived a life of verbal and emotional abuse. So, from family. Yeah, there's a lot of Adventists. We'll talk about that offline, Milan. Ooh, that's some shit. They special. We won't even go there. But I still never wanted to disappoint my parents. But I got, this was well over 10 years ago. This is right before I walked into witchcraft, or witchcraft walked into me. And then subsequently, first voodoo came in, then witchcraft. But the reality of the matter is, over a decade ago, the fields where my fucks lay, it became barren. I burnt that motherfucking field. I burnt that shit to the ground with everybody and everything. You have to, in order to, first of all, really get down and get close to your gods and your spirits. Because there are going to be times where you have to make really unpopular decisions that nobody is going to understand. And you have to do it because you are spirit-led. And you're going to have to say, fuck the world, because this ain't it, boo-boo. This is your training ground. I don't give a fuck what religion that you are a part of. This is your test. This is hell. And sometimes you have to say, I'm not going to be in hell. I'm not going to put up with what the world tells me to do. I'm going to put up with what the spirits tell me to do. When I say world, I'm talking about the people of the world. You're going to have to do what the universe calls you to do, and it may involve that you lose friends, that you lose family. My motherfucking family ain't been here to see me for the most part. Most of my family, my sister's been here, my cousin who lives here, but most of my holy rolling motherfucking family has not been here to see my house since I bought it 4 years ago. And guess motherfucking what? Do you see me losing sleep over it? Have you once seen me get on the internet and cry about it? Nope. Wanna know why? Because I'm happy. For the first time, in my life, the moment that I released the chains of oppression created by colonizers, quite literally, I became happy. And no, it ain't been no crystal stare, and it hasn't been all a good time. And even having the store and initiating, that wasn't a good time. You don't go to initiation for a fucking vacation. I fucking almost died. I fell in a 6-foot hole. I couldn't walk when I got out of it. I didn't fall into the hole. I flew into the hole. So for all these motherfuckers around here talking all that shit, ain't never been nowhere, ain't never done nothing. That bitch probably ain't even been to Mexico, and she trying to fucking copyright Santa Muerte. Get the fuck out of here. And no, I'm not scared of any of these motherfuckers. I'm really not. Okay? I'm not even fucking scared of Rona. I'm like not foolish because of it. Because basically, I'm not out here challenging people. I'm not out here throwing at people. I'm not out here puffing up my chest at conjurers, because I think that is stupid and fucking immature. But like this virus, if you want to be scared of something, you might want to be scared of this. But I'm not even scared of death anymore, because guess what? My religions have always taught me, even Christianity, that death is nothing to be afraid of. You go to be with God. What the fuck? Prizes? But for the people who remain here, death hurts. And for that reason, we all should be careful. And, in this age where we have all of this fucking information at our fingertips, yet we still continue to take one little motherfucking post on TikTok and turn it into the baby witches are cursing the moon, and everybody get their panties in a knot, and everybody be so, I'm in an uproar. Tells me you ain't got shit better to do. First of all, tells me you didn't research that issue, and that you If you know anything about witchcraft, you know that can't be done, so why are you pissed off about it? The fuck is wrong with you people? Read a book. Seriously? It's laughable, and that's about it. And I think I devoted one post to it because it was funny to me. But like I said, if I really need people, I had a black person do it. There was something where other conjurers were disagreeing with what I teach about the use of mirrors and how you should have or not cover mirrors in your home. And I explained to that person that the reality of the matter is we are going to have theological differences. Okay? And just because I teach something one way does not mean that, and this is a conjurer I love. In fact, they're on this live right now. I was like, just because she believes that differently than I do doesn't make her wrong. Just because she practices differently than I do doesn't make it a problem. Because she's cool as shit. I love her. And we disagree on that tip, and that's okay. But what I don't like is you coming into my inbox and calling my attention to it. But that's what I don't like. Because it looks like me, you trying to start some shit. And that person was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go on back here in my corner, as you should. Different teachers are going to teach you different things. It's up to you as an individual what you believe. And it's okay to disagree on matters of magic, religion, choices of how you commune with spirit, because guess what? That's your motherfucking choice. I love you too, Tasha. Yes, she did try to come on my email with some bullshit like that. And I really like this person, and this person's getting direction in magic from some really good people. But that doesn't mean that those people are always going to agree. My religion tells me to do a lot of shit that a lot of you motherfuckers aren't going to do on a good day. Okay? That doesn't mean that I'm wrong or you're wrong. It's whatever works for you, boo-boo. Whatever floats your motherfucking boat. But I have found that the major problem, and this is not just in the occult community. Y'all forget I had a life before this. This is in photography, other types of creative types of environments. That's the only thing. I've always been a creative, so I don't know about the business world and corporates, but they're backbiting motherfuckers too. People are always going to try to start shit. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they're bored. And if you didn't, I use this pandemic to paint. I use this pandemic to garden. I use this pandemic to read my motherfucking ass off for people and divine for people and teach for people till I burnt myself the entire fuck out. Okay? If you don't come through this pandemic a better person, then, or dead, because that's the only way, two ways you're going to do. You should do. Improve or die. Then I feel sorry for you. Because you should have come through here better. You should have learned something. You know, now I'm not saying that you don't come through the pandemic doing better. Because honestly, there's a lot of people losing their motherfucking shirts right now. They're losing their homes. They're losing their cars. They're losing their jobs. And so, right. And there's people who are having to create hustles they ain't never hustled before, and they're doing splendidly well. And right now, people are it's being proven what you can motherfucking do if you put your motherfucking mind to it. But for those who want to be basic motherfuckers, who want to stay the baseline, who don't want to grow, who don't want to use this time to be better people, to learn new things, to learn how to live within restrictions, how to live selflessly, wear a goddamn mask to protect other people. We could have been back to quote-unquote normal. But motherfuckers are uneducated and they're fucking selfish. And if you don't believe that, look at the president of the motherfucking United States. They elected an uneducated, selfish, stupid motherfucker. And he shows you that every day. They also elected somebody who can't keep their motherfucking business to themselves. Somebody who has antagonized China so bad that they have put biological warfare on this country, and he's still fucking walking around acting like he did not have any complicity in the fucking shit that we have going on right now. You didn't fucking learn. You're right, Tasha. This is a time for us to dig deeper. And for me, it was learn how to take care of yourself more. I've been taking care of my motherfucking self since I was a goddamn child. I've been taking care of grown-ups since I was a motherfucking child. But I learned I was going to need to learn how to grow my own food. And if I was going to continue to eat meat, I learned I might have to learn how to slaughter my own animals. Okay? So let's talk about that. And then my youngest child, ooh, I love that child. I love her. She's like, we got to know this. We got to learn this. She goes out and gets in that garden. And, as much as an 18-year-old does. And, she's been looking at tiny homes. She's like, I need to be able to pick up and go when I need to pick up and go. And then if I do have to leave something behind, leave something very small behind. Leave that very small footprint so that you are not. I was watching a video about tiny homes, and I digress, in places that they're building for people who got burnt out during campfire. Campfire triggered a lot of shit, including a lot of stress-borne diseases and even cancer. One of my friends who was in campfire, Ochani Lely, died from brain cancer shortly thereafter. Those wildfires triggered some shit. But what really, really struck me was that there is this woman out there building tiny homes for the people that lost their homes. And this woman, who all she had was a double-wide trailer, still is so upset because that particular fire that day, she did not get the advance warning. She was not able to go back into her house. In fact, she wasn't even able to notify all the neighbors she usually notified. And she was just like, if I could have just got one picture. I keep my shit backed up on the cloud, but really, I've got to get to the point in my life, given the situations, both natural and unnatural, that we have going on in this country, that if all of this shit burned down tomorrow, the fact that I got out with my life would be enough. And so that's what I've learned during the pandemic. I don't know about you. Now, I like nice shit. I'm a diva. I'm sitting right now in a fucking black velvet bed with rhinestones. I have a chandelier in my bedroom. I have a 6-foot-tall mirror that is currently covered because I'm a goddamn freak, too. I got a fucking fireplace on my wall. Why? Because this is my sanctuary. Why? Because I motherfucking like it. But do I need it? No. And see, that's the difference. And that's what I was saying about me having the store open. You don't need none of that. Do you like it? Does it help you with your magical practice? Does it help you focus? Are some of these things necessary in ritual according to your rules and reglement? Yeah, I get that. But are they worth risking your life? So, yeah, that shit really fucked me up. And it didn't. No, it didn't. Let me lie. It irritated me that this white woman has been in my inbox for the past 6 years dropping information about the bullshit that goes on in this community. And every time she's giving me this information, I've told her, thanks, I'm good. And not seeing what they've been doing the whole time. You got a lot of miserable motherfuckers out here practicing, y'all. That's not spirituality. That ain't it. That is not the motherfucking reason why we're here. Okay? I did not trade in one oppressive religion to go into yet a community, to go into yet another oppressive community. I didn't trade one gossiping ass religion to go into yet another gossiping ass religion. That is not evolution. How are you stunting your growth? How are you keeping yourself from your own spirits? Because I remember my daddy, the Adventist that he was, used to tell me, and angels being spirits, there are places that you will go that your guardian angels will not. How many of you are going into places that your motherfucking spirits will not follow you? And you can't grow without them. And I'm talking about mental places as well as physical places. How many of you motherfuckers are walking around defenseless because of the places you will go? Because of the mental mind space that you put yourself in when you fucking refuse to evolve. Where you so motherfucking busy caring about what some other motherfucker is doing that you don't take time to talk to your spirit when you get up in the morning. Because, see, when I get up in the morning, I usually make it a habit of thanking the creator, the ancestors of the Loa, that I opened my motherfucking eyes. Some mornings I've cried and asked them, why did you let me wake up? But at all times, I get up talking to them. Or how many of you just got up and got on your motherfucking phone? Because I found myself doing that for a long time. And now, I don't even want to touch the bitch. It's like, oh my God. You know, I don't want to wake up to depression. I want to wake up with the birds. I want to, Mark, he goes out here every morning. And he goes out here in this garden every morning and looks at all of the plants. We do a garden tour every day. We go out there and look at what we are growing. I wake up every morning wondering, what am I going to grow today? And that's not just vegetables. What am I going to grow with the children who are in my household? What I'm going to grow with the children who are out of my household, no matter what age those children may be. How many of us wake up like that? Okay? Wake up with your mind on growth, people. Don't wake up. I mean, literally, that was the first shit was in my inbox this morning. And I was just like, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. Because for years, you've just been trying to antagonize situations, thinking that you are being helpful. Be careful, you all. Not everybody needs to know everything. Mind your motherfucking business. Have a great day.